So according to the interview I carried out, all Kenyans integrated very well. And in fact, I was so pleased to hear that all of us appreciated who we are, where we come from, our cultures even more. So what we did is we unlearned the things that we grew up hearing or knowing, and we adopted the good things that we saw here. That is a good thing. Like, for instance, speaking your mind. If you don't like something, if you don't really want to do that thing, you just say no. It's okay to say no. So this is one problem that I found among all of us, that we had a problem, that the au pairs had a problem with saying no. And if you're one of them, please take this as a learning phase. Don't rush out of this season. Don't rush out of this chapter of your life. I know you will come in this land, or in Denmark or France, or whatever country that you're in, and people would be telling you, you don't have to finish, you don't have to stay long, just go, get married or do FSJ or Ausbildung. If you ask me, I would say don't rush this chapter. Learn whatever you can. I was so mind blown at the bravery of these young women. Oh my goodness. Now most of them are doing Ausbildung. One of them in France was still an au pair, I think in her final year in France. The other one is already working. The one in Netherlands was already working, and the one in Germany is actually winding up her Ausbildung. So this was such incredible moments, and I just shared this with you so that if you are an au pair, if you're a host family, please take this as a self-discovery journey. And if you are thinking about trying this au pair thing, please do. I encourage you to try it, because even the other girls recommended it, because there are so many things that we learned and discovered about ourselves that if we had only stayed where we were, we would have never learned. So that is basically the message that I have for you, that look at it as a self-discovery journey, more than just a year that you came and it was a way to come abroad and you want to rush this phase. No, take your time, don't rush it. You never know what can come out of this. But the most important, I was asking the girls and I was asking myself, what is the thing? What is your takeaway from this au pair year? And all of us said it was the person that we become. Hi y'all, what's up? I hope you're doing very well. My name is Doris Bonitah. For those who are just stumbling on this channel for the first time, and this is obviously my channel, I'm super excited to have you. And if you are a regular viewer and a returning subscriber, thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate you, and I pray that the Lord would bless you. So as you keep watching like this, I hope you get to learn something. And by the way, I would appreciate it so much if you guys would share with me, whether on my Instagram inbox or in the comment section, if you learn anything from me and what exactly you have learned. I would also love to hear your experiences, throughout life, what you've learned, how you're navigating through it, and all that. How are you guys doing, especially au pairs? If I have any au pairs following me, how are you guys doing? It's been a while. We haven't, caught up for a long time, and today I just thought about you. And I'm making this video on Sunday, but you're definitely going to see it on Wednesday. And I just want to know how you guys are doing. How are you guys doing? What's your experience? How is your experience? I just want to share a few things about the au pair journey. I have been privileged to do an interview with 5 au pairs from the Netherlands, from France, and from Germany. And this was for my class project, which I presented and even already got my results. This is also something that I intend, it's a research I intend to deepen on. I'm just checking because I'm supposed to join a prayer in a while. This is a research I'm actually going to deepen. And this was specifically about Kenyan au pairs in Europe. Now, the area is this. And by the way, if you live in Munich and you're interested in being interviewed, or your host family, I will be needing host families to interview those with African au pairs. You know why? Because I realized that we have a very different culture from the European culture. And this makes this program even more interesting and more challenging. And this is exactly what I'm going to talk about in a little while. So stay tuned and let's get to it. Like I mentioned, I have had a privilege to have an extensive interview with 5 au pairs. And yeah, I just want to share a few things that I've learned from them, and a few things that I've, this is inclusive of my own little experience, the things I've discovered, or rather the importance of this program. And of course, I'm also going to request you that if you are from the city of Munich, please reach out to me on Instagram, because in a few months, I will be needing an interview with some of you if you're anywhere from Africa. Most importantly, I would like people from West Africa, Southern Africa, that is inclusive of South Africa, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Lesotho. Unfortunately, I lost contacts to some people that I used to know, but if you will be watching this, please reach out to me on my Instagram page at Doris Bonitah. Yes, Doris Bonitah with an H, with an eagle on it. Specifically, if you live in Munich, please. This will not be a video interview, but it is for my bachelor thesis, because this is the topic I'm going to tackle on. I've realized the importance of this program, and that is exactly what I want to find out. I want to do a research on this very topic extensively, but mostly specifically focusing on the African folks, the African au pairs in Munich, and the families that have hosted African au pairs in Munich. So yes, I will be needing host families, German host families, and whatever, you know, country the family is from, as long as they live in Munich, I'm gonna need your help on that. So please, 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 if you know anyone that would like to do that, please reach out to me, and we will plan everything on how it's gonna go. So I'm gonna share with you guys the au pair story. Basically, this is a little bit on the au pair discoveries that I found out, and I was so impressed, I was so amazed, I was so blessed to hear the stories of other people and the experiences. There were a few differences, and they were also a couple of similarities, and some of these things that they said, or rather that was common in all the au pairs, we came to realize that this was actually more than just an au pair program, more than just a cultural exchange. It was more of a self-discovery journey, in the sense that some people had to unlearn. In fact, not some people, all of us had to unlearn. Like I mentioned, the interview was only done on Kenyan au pairs, but for my BA thesis, I'll be doing it on all Africans, whether you're from Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, like East Africa. I'm going to group them: East Africa, West Africa, Southern Africa, North Africa, I'm not really going there because our culture is not, I'm not going to do like the likes of Egypt and Morocco. I'm going to do the Black Africans and South Africans, whether you are Black or not. But yeah, I'm gonna focus on the 3 regions: Southern Africa, West Africa, and Eastern Africa. Those are the categories that I'm going to focus on. So if you're from those areas, please reach out. It will be really, really helpful. And I hope that we can, come out with something good out of this research project. Yes. So back to what I was saying, the discoveries that I found, I realized that a lot of girls overcame so much, and we found out that people naturally, where we come from and how we had been nurtured, was saying no was almost like a taboo. It's almost like you are not told that you are not allowed to say no, but the atmosphere and the environment you grew in really suppressed your own opinion. So you would have to do things whether you like it or not, which is very different from this side. Of course, also coming, they have some certain expectations, and most of the Black folks are actually, or rather African folks, yeah, but mostly Black Africans. There's unconscious discrimination against yourself and them unconsciously, especially if you have a Caucasian host family. Unconsciously. That's also what I personally realized from my own experience. And I came to realize this thing. There are some families that were very open, to see and experience the new culture. Like one of my friends was explaining to me that her host family, the mother is an influencer, and she was actually intentional about exposing her children and herself to new cultures. So they would prepare the kids in advance of the person to expect. And if you're a host family watching this video, please feel free to take some tips from this video. And they would prepare their kids psychologically. Hey, this is the kind of au pair we are getting, and this is how they look like, and blah, 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 all the necessary preparation. So when the kids come, yes, because they've never been in a close proximity with a Black person, they were prepared, but it's a different thing, reality versus what you've been told, plus now you're seeing it in your eyes. So she would say at first the kids were a bit shy, coming close to her, or looking at her, like it's almost like you could see they're asking questions in their little heads. But then with time, they were, they then warmed up and they became just like, normal people. They discovered they were just normal. In my own experience, this was a statement said by my own host sister, whom I love so much. That girl, whoa, she's amazing. I was having a conversation with her, which we actually always have conversations with her, and it's interesting that she's 9 years, but I feel like she understands me more than most adults. So we were having a conversation, and she told me, and she was actually an inspiration, an added inspiration to us why I'm carrying out this research on the au pair program, focusing on the African, specifically the African group of people. And she said to me, before you came, I actually had heard so many bad things about Africans. And I was kind of scared because I didn't know how to behave. But then when you got here and, we started interacting, I noticed you are just a person. You are just a human being. You have no idea how this warmed my heart. And she was like, I noticed you're just a human being. I mean, you guys just have a different color and you are such a good person. And she said that she noticed that it's just like, it's in Africa is just the same way as here. There are bad people and good people everywhere. Just like there are bad people and good people in Africa, there are also bad and good people in Europe. But it is unfair to generalize people. I was like, I looked at that child and she told me, you see, you are a Christian, you believe in God, I don't believe in God. And we just get along, we interact very well, you know, we are like besties. And I looked at her, I'm like, girl, we need this mind in this world. You see, people that reason like this, we need this kind of people in this world. And so that kid inspired me to pursue this journey towards doing a research on this specifically. Could this be maybe a solution or a way to a better human integration, you know, human relation with one another? Because actually the human mind psychologically is usually, when something is unfamiliar, we tend to be resistant towards it. But when something is now familiar, we tend to be more open. And that also happens to me as a person. If I feel or if I have some formed opinion about things, depending with what I was told about those things, if these things are negative, I'm more likely to, you know, to be resistant and to push back. And like when I get to know something. And this is something I also discovered. So in this interview that I did, all Kenyans integrated well. I was using a model called the Berry theory, the Berry acculturation theory, which talks about 4 stages, or rather 4 things. There's the assimilation, there's the separation, there's the marginalization, and there's a integration. So for a person to be say that they have integrated well is if they are able to engage actively in the host culture, but they are also able to maintain their own culture, the home culture. So that is what Berry acculturation theory 1967 says. That is, then for a person to be assimilated, it means they left their own home culture and adopted fully to the host culture. For a person to feel marginalized, it means they were not able to connect with the host culture and they rejected it and held on to their own culture. So that is basically what it means. And then separation is they separated from all of them. Yes, they didn't participate in this, and they also, like, they're just in there, basically. That's how they feel. So according to the interview I carried out, all Kenyans integrated very well. And in fact, I was so pleased to hear that all of us appreciated who we are, where we come from, our cultures even more. So what we did is we unlearned the things that we grew up hearing or knowing, and we adopted the good things that we saw here. That is a good thing. Like, for instance, speaking your mind. If you don't like something, if you don't really want to do that thing, you just say no. It's okay to say no. So this is one problem that I found among all of us, that we had a problem, that the au pairs had a problem with saying no. And if you're one of them, please take this as a learning phase. Don't rush out of this season. Don't rush out of this chapter of your life. I know you will come in this land, or in Denmark or France, you know, or whatever country that you're in, and people would be telling you, you don't have to finish, you don't have to stay long, just go, you know, get married or do FSJ or Ausbildung. If you ask me, I would say don't rush this chapter. Learn whatever you can, because there was this girl who came as an au pair in France, and she did 2 years in France as an au pair. Then she moved to Germany. Now, her first experience with the first host family was terrible, was horrible. She was only with them for, I think she said 2 months. I think, if I'm not wrong, she said 2 months. I have recorded interview, but I can't play it right now. So she said these were horrible 2 weeks, either 2 weeks or 2 months. And this was a horrible time in the sense that she came, the parents were artists, they would go perform. They never told her the child had a disability, and the children could not speak English, and she could not speak French at that time. She didn't have access to go to language school, and that was just horrible for her. And she just didn't feel like part of the family, because one of the questions again I was asking was, do you feel like part of the family, or more like an employee, or in between? And for most of them, like this one, the first experience, she said she felt like an employee and she couldn't take it anymore, and she had to switch the families. But then for the other experience that she had after she switched the family, she had such an incredible experience, but she had learned so many things from the first family and the bad experience that she had. So when she moved to Germany and she was an au pair, she had learned from from France. She had caught some lessons there, and she was applying here. And she was giving me an experience where her German host family told her to clean the entire window, which is like the whole wall was glass, and she told her, no, I can't do it, because I will need to climb up, and if I fall down, I might hurt myself. And I was like, wow, how did she react? And she said she was shocked that I say no, because they say this with the expectation that you would just do it. So she was shocked that she said no, but she just, didn't do anything about it. Like, she just had to take that no for the answer that she gave. And I was so mind blown at the bravery of these young women. Oh my goodness. Now most of them are doing house building. One of them in France was still an au pair, I think in her final year in France. The other one is already working. The one in Netherlands was already working, and the one in Germany is actually winding up her house building. So this was such incredible moments, and I just shared this with you so that if you are an au pair, if you're a host family, please take this as a self-discovery journey. And if you are thinking about trying this au pair thing, please do. I encourage you to try it, because even the other girls recommended it, because there are so many things that we learned and discovered about ourselves that if we had only stayed where we were, we would have never learned. So that is basically the message that I have for you, that look at it as a self-discovery journey, more than just a year that you came and it was a way to come abroad and you want to rush this phase. No, take your time, don't rush it. You never know what can come out of this. But the most important, I was asking the girls and I was asking myself, what is the thing? What is your takeaway from this au pair year? And all of us said it was the person that we become. I'm going to share with you a few stereotypes, and something that was funny that I got from them was something that was interesting, that struck my interest when I was asking. Now, being a black person, or rather a Kenyan, we grew up, if you grew up where I grew up, you would hear how Caucasians were like treated like gods, or they were referred to as gods. And one girl who used to be my friend, even shared one time that her mother used to tell her, she should take a bath because Caucasian people likes clean people. And she said when she moved here, and then she lived with the Caucasians themselves, she was like, these people, is this what my mother used to say? Because she was even more clean than they were. So these were just some of the shocking things. And then one striking experience that was really, for me personally, it was funny because even me myself had never thought something like that, was that the au pair in Netherlands was like, one day for her, she went to a host family where the mother was Kenyan and the father was Dutch. And she said one time they were building the house. The host family was building their own house. And then there were people who were bringing the construction stuff, materials. And then she saw the Caucasian guys mixing the sand and doing the construction work. And that shook her, like she could not believe her eyes. And I was like, I had never even thought about that. She was so shocked that Caucasians also do construction work. And she even went and shared with her host mom, and the host mom laughed and she said, yeah, they also do that. If you're Kenyan, we are talking about mjengo. Like, she was shocked that wazungu pia wanafanya kazi ya mjengo, And that really was amazing because for me, I've never thought about it, Like, it seems very cliche, but it's like, wow, that's what makes a difference between us, being people. Because for me, a thought like that never crossed me. I think for me, I just saw them as people, and I really never thought about it in that direction. So it wasn't a shock for me to see that they do construction work. I think the thing that personally shook me was when I would be in conversations and then I would notice the way of thinking of people. And I would be like, are these the ones that they were telling us that they are smarter than us? Like, a person who was older than me, and I'm not saying this to demean anyone, it's just for context sake, and how this actually exposure can change your mindset. And this is why it is important, if you get an opportunity to be exposed, if you get an opportunity to get out of your village, please do. If you get an opportunity to get out of your state or county, please do. If you get an opportunity to get out of your country, please do. And nowadays, we are so blessed with so many resources. We have YouTube. You can get out of your comfort zone through watching YouTube and educating yourself concerning these things. You don't have to leave the country to go. If you don't have that money or you don't have that support to do so, then you can learn from YouTube. You can learn from Google stuff. Google stuff, it is so cliche and so weird that till today there are some people who ask us if we don't have houses in Africa. Like, there's so many resources, to be honest. It is not something that you want to talk about, because you are just showing the shallowness of your thinking. And you too, before you ask a question about anything, go and Google. If you don't find it in Google now, you can ask the person. Or even if you find it on Google, just come and ask a person to confirm from them. This is why we are here. Don't be too comfortable with the little that you know. Be curious to learn every single day. I was encouraging my brother and telling him, you've never lived the day that you're living in. So we are learning. Every day is a learning day. Strive to be a better version of yourself. Strive to make the right choices. But even when you make the wrong choice, don't stay there. Get up, dust off, and move on. That's how you learn. We are learning every single day. And treat yourself with so much dignity and so much respect, because you are an important person. And every choice that you make actually counts, not just for you, but even for other people. This is not a promotion video. I've not been paid to promote the program, but I am a beneficiary of this program, and I would definitely love to urge you to apply for it. You never know the experience that you would have. You might have a bad experience or a good experience, but guess what? In all of them, there is something to learn. Life is all about perspective. I hope you've learned something, and see you on Friday. Bye.